Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about how to get the most bang for your buck when you're actually doing home improvements or doing the home improvements that actually give you the most ROI. This is the time period where home sales do peak. So if you're actually thinking about dusting off your home and doing some home improvements to get the most possible money from the sale of the property, this is definitely a time to be doing it. But there are going to be some things that you're going to want to avoid. So we're going to talk about that. For those that are interested in actually selling in spring, let's talk about the actual improvements that will net you a big return. It is crucial to consider that not all improvements will actually get you money back. So you might actually spend more into the project than a buyer in the market would actually pay for it, which is something to avoid, especially if you're going to be selling the property. You don't want to just spend your money for the benefit of somebody else, especially if they're not going to essentially pay you for it. Let's talk about some of those upgrades to actually avoid. So while upgrading is a great way to build your home's equity and value, there are plenty of upgrades that actually aren't worth your time or trouble. Like upgrading your kitchen to the top of the line and making like lavish landscaping changes actually won't net you an actual return on the property because it's pretty standard to have, cabinets in your kitchen. So like painting them would probably actually be a better investment than it would be to completely change them out to something that's top of the line, because a buyer in most price points aren't going to appreciate the difference between a 36-inch cabinet that's a little bit older but has paint on it compared to a 46-inch upper that you just spent $20,000 on. They just really don't know the difference, honestly. So you also want to avoid partial upgrades at any cost. So if you're just going to upgrade like one section of the house but not other sections, it just kind of looks like half done or unfinished, and actually would end up hurting the sales price, especially if you're only doing like a portion and it actually leaves it in a position where it feels like unfinished. When you embark on a project, make sure that you actually see it through to completion. So don't just start something and then not finish it. So stuff like ripping out the cabinets in your kitchen or tearing up the tile in the bathrooms, or pulling up carpet in the living room and just leaving it as like a subfloor. I've seen that before in real estate listings, and the first thing that a buyer thinks about when they walk into a home like that is, what is this going to cost me, not how much do I want to spend on this property. So it's a very big swing in their mentality. There are some upgrades that you actually should consider making. You should actually just pursue the right project. So you should be doing the right thing. So consider replacing like your garage door and making the exterior of the home look really nice. Any type of like stone veneer on the exterior of the home actually does give you an actual ROI. People, when they look at the home online, for some reason, they give a lot of value to the exterior of the property, which I personally, as a realtor, don't truly agree with, because you spend most of your time on the inside of the property. But people do base buying decisions based off the outside of the home. And a lot of that first impression is actually made on the outside. So having a really eye-catching, good-looking property on the exterior can make people feel invited, as well as not start to think about the total cost. While you don't want to go too in depth and like overdo it with like astroturf and like all this stuff and just spend $30,000 on the outside, you do want to at least make it inviting and make it look clean. So stuff like paint touch-ups, you just want to make sure that things look presentable. One of the most critical considerations for any home improvement project is the contractor that you actually pick to perform the work for you. So obviously you want them to be affordable. You don't want them to break your bank, but they do help you control the costs and also make sure that the work that gets done is high quality. Sometimes, let's be honest, like if I did some of the work on painting and stuff like that, like I'm not a painter, right? I'm a realtor. That's what I specialize in. So getting a specialist or a person that does that work every single day is probably going to be worth it. Especially when you're trying to present that to the general public. Unless, of course, you have like a background in that individual thing that you're thinking about getting a contractor for. To get a list of candidates, actually, we do have a vendor referral list where we keep about 60 different vendors of people that we've worked with in the past and have actual good reviews with our past clients. So that is something that we do provide to our clients when they're listing their property, and even if they're not, right? They just wanted to do some home improvement. It's something that we do to kind of help our community out. So if you need that, feel free to reach out to me. It's just called the vendor referral list. If you are actually considering selling your house, think about each improvement that you're thinking about making this spring/going into summer as something that will actually increase the value of it, especially if you're thinking about selling. Now, if you're just doing it for yourself, that's fine. But remember, just try to remain strategic in actually getting the most value out of your house as possible. And that's pretty much it. So I'm here to help. If you have any questions about what can or won't be positive for you, just contact me via phone. My cell phone number is 602-525-5502. Shoot me a text as well, or an email, which is chance@chancecasegroup.com. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you next week. Bye.